Greetings, this is M Squared. We are going to solve some linear systems using substitution. Just a reminder, a linear system is when you're graphing two lines or have two different linear equations, and when we solve them, we're finding out where they intersect. There are three methods to solving these systems, and we're going to concentrate on substitution in this lesson. Let's remember what can happen when I have two lines. They can intersect once, they can intersect an infinite amount of times, or they're parallel and they don't intersect at all. So when we have the equations, this is kind of the row I want you to look at. If there's one solution, the slopes are going to be different. If they're the same line, the slopes and the y-intercepts will be the same, and if they're parallel, the slopes are going to be exactly the same. So with that in mind, let's substitute. So over here, there's kind of some guidelines of how you should do it. But basically, these are some simple ones, because what you want to do is get one of the variables alone in one of the equations. And in these two systems, that's already done for us. That's why these are kind of simple. And in the next lesson, we'll do some a little more challenging. So what I want to do is get one of the variables alone, and then I take it and substitute it in for that variable in the other equation. So since y equals 3x, anytime I see y, I can put 3x. So what I do is I rewrite this equation. I'm going to use two different colors so you can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to put what that equaled into that equation. So now instead of x plus y equals 4, I have x plus 3x equals 4. So to simplify that, x plus 3x is 4x. So x equals 1 when I divide both sides by 4. A lot of times people think they're done after they find x, but remember, we're finding the point where these two intersect, and a point has an x and a y. So I've found half of my solution. To find the rest of my solution, I need to find y. So what I do is I take, I'll use my other color now, I take my x and I plug it back into that equation to find y. So I say y equals 3 times x, and x was 1, and then y equals 3 times 1, so y must equal 3. So my solution is 1, 3. That is the point where they intersect. And if I have one solution, that means it's consistent and independent. So if you have to do, if you have to answer that question, you'll know because it has one solution. And you can always check into both of these equations. 1 plus 3 here, 1 plus 3 is 4. And we just checked that one here when we said 3 equals 3 times 1. Okay, let's do this next one. We have what x equals, so we go back up here and we're going to replace it in for that x. So 2 times x plus 4y equals negative 24. But instead of x, I'm going to put what x equals. So I'm going to put 20 minus 2y. And then I simplify. So here I have to use my distributive property. 20 times 2 times 20 is 40. 2 times negative 2y is negative 4y, plus 4y equals negative 24. So these two are combinable. So 40 plus 0, because negative 4y and 4y cancel out. So 40 equals negative 24. Now, that's not true. 40 does not equal negative 24. It's at this point where some kids think, oh, what did I do wrong? Well, you didn't necessarily do anything wrong. Both variables canceled out. When both variables cancel out, you either have the same lines or you have parallel lines. And how you can tell the difference is if these two are actually equal. If I had gotten 40 equals 40, I would know it was the exact same line. But if I get things that are not true, they're not equal, 40 does not equal negative 24, then I know my lines are parallel and I have no solution. And you could probably, if you got y alone on this one, let's just do that so you can see it. If I had moved 2x to the other side, I would get, minus 24. And then I would get y equals negative 1/2 when I divide by 4 and reduce, minus 6. So my slope is negative 1/2. And here, if I had divided by negative 2 to get y alone, you see how the slope here is negative 1/2 and the slope here is negative 1/2, but this y-intercept would be negative 10 and that was negative 6. So this is So these are parallel lines when the slopes are the same. So sometimes that happens. Don't get scared. Make sure you did all your math correctly. But that's what happens when you have no solution or when the lines are parallel. So good luck with that. M squared signing out.